I don't know, you actually raised one point. I sort of thought, again, watching that I feel kind of sorry for Sam and Dean, and really, how much fun you ever get to have. It's dark, it's beating demons all the time. Have you ever thought of doing, I don't know, the Hawaiian episode or something like that?
I've often been trying to pitch the Demon Surfer in Hawaii.
No, that's not really the show. I mean, it was I think it was a quote from Sam Raimi actually, which is, invent characters you love and then torture them. and Sam and Dean, that's the heroic struggle, man. I mean, we're hoping for a happy ending for the Winchester boys when it's all said and done, but they've got a lot of work to do, and but they have fun along the way. I mean, it's just their fun is sort of kind of reckless cowboy fun. It's roadhouses and beer and loose women and yeah, no, it's not a negative. I'm saying there's like a real, part of the show is it's on the road, and there's sort of like a wish fulfillment to just be able to ditch your job, ditch your life, get in the muscle car, and just cruise the country, and that's fun too. I mean, that part, that great American road trip. There are moments, so it's not all bad. It's but you can't have a horror show and have like nice things happen. Like a delightful piece of pie.
One of my favorites from last year was Ben, you wrote the Hollywood episode. Which was, I mean, where did that come from? I mean, it was kind of a fun one-off sort of thing.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that sort of just kind of proves that they can have fun in a way. It's more we have fun than they have. They have a lighter moment here and there, and that one I think came from, well, I mean, really, the Hollywood episode is the challenge for every kind of show. You're eventually going to take a look at something like that, especially if you have, you're getting around the country. This is a show about Americana in a lot of ways. Hollywood is this big, central kind of draw. American ghost stories take place there. But that was just really, really lots of fun to do. I don't know.
And we became enamored with the idea of that they're making basically an episode of Supernatural in the show, and one thing we did, and I'll completely admit this, and if I get busted for it, I don't really give a crap. But Gary Cole was this studio executive, and every note he gave the production were real notes we got from the network. So if you go back and look at it, we have had to suffer every one of those notes. Like, why can't it be brighter? And all those things. And then we hung him. And snapped his neck. That's our response.
A lot of catharsis.
Yeah, nothing else.
Actually, I'm curious what you'd heard when you were pitching the show. Did you guys
it was the funniest thing. The notes calls, and we're, love it. They love it. We love it. It's so funny. And we were like, really? Because we're ripping on you. But they loved it. So.
Yeah, they really do. It's
they have a sense of humor.
It's true. It's a fun house mirror. I like those. I like to look like a little round one, and then a tall, skinny one.
He does.
I really do. I stuck on the tall, skinny.
Do you have them in the office, or you just walk by and you should put one on?
He just likes to go to carnivals. It's a weird thing.
I'm glad you hired me. It's nice to have an address to show up every day. It keeps me grounded.
I'm curious if we can step back to the beginning of the show when they're pitching it around just to get it on the air, what the reaction was. I mean, was it the same? Yeah, but could we give them a dog?
It was an idea or a version of an idea that I'd had for probably like 8 years before it got set up, and it used to get a really cold response. But there were different versions of it, and some of them sucked out loud. And one of them was an anthology, and one of them was a reporter, and there's all these different versions of the show, and it always met with a collective yawn. But it just goes to show you, it's like you hold on to an idea long enough, and sooner or later the market kind of turns, and the market of what people are looking for just kind of turns in your favor. And I happened to be pitching it just by a fluke of timing, right as Grudge and The Ring were like tearing up the box office. So it was a really easy pitch to sit down in front of a network and say, you know, what the Ring and The Grudge are doing, you know, in the box office, I want to do that on TV. And of course, you don't, the show isn't really that, and in your heart, you know what you want the show to be, but you just need a pitch to get them excited. And they, you know, they were really excited. We were actually in a bidding war over the pilot once the timing was right. So, you know, a lot of enthusiasm for the idea. And then I wrote it, and then they said, we hate it. but at least the pitch sold. That's really true. I spent 3 months on the script, and it was like, oh, here's my baby. And I showed it to them, they're like, this is unreadable, and they tore it up. And they said, we hate it. And so me and, you know, co-executive producer Peter Johnson, I spent 3 months on the first draft. We tore it up, we rebroke in the entire story. I wrote it in 10 days, and that was the pilot that got shot.
I can see why you hung the guy and broke his neck.
Yeah.
It made you feel better, and you got it out of your